Mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet. It's Friday, a couple days after Election Day. Few 100,000 ballots left to be counted in a few districts in a few states. But the moment, it looks like inevitability is beating Donald Trump like he owes it money. Again, still no sympathy. You brought this on yourself. At the end of the day, the entire 2020 election, Donald Trump decided to make it a referendum about Donald Trump. And literally 70 million people came out who couldn't care less about Joe Biden. And 70 million people came out to the public referendum on Donald Trump and voted against him. Man, that's got to chap his ass. Just a quick reminder, Trump isn't all bad. I mean, he called for all that liberation, and well, looks like they've been liberated. So, there you go, Don. It's not all bad, right? You get to take that as a consolation prize. I mean, you're definitely not going to win $10 for, second prize at the beauty contest. So, maybe you take this and you just call it a day, okay? So, Trump is flailing around. He's screaming for anybody who will listen. Spent 20 minutes on a press conference repeating the same 8 sentences, gibbering like a madman, about how everything's stacked against him and all the votes are fake and all the ballots are being received with no postmarks and there's still people, mailing in ballots even though they're not, and even though there's actually a Trump group encouraging people in Pennsylvania who are Republicans to mail in ballots if they haven't yet for Trump, even though it's like 3 days past Election Day. But sure, let's not let any of that obfuscate the waters, okay? Trump is screaming and hooping and hollering and yelling so goddamn much about how everything is stacked against him and how it's all bullshit. And it has gotten to the point where he's literally starting to piss off his own people. And this is where you begin to see the first stages of the schism forming between Trump and the rest of the GOP as one at a time they jump off the deck of the giant flaccid Titanic and hop in a rowboat and start doing one of these, before it goes in and the pressure just goes and sucks everybody else down with it. Now, I don't know, I think about a month ago or so, I made a video about how Mitch McConnell and the GOP are totally going to cut bait with Trump the second it's convenient for them. Oh, and everybody filled up the comment section and they ridiculed me and they laughed and they laughed. Oh, it was such a good time. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, hold on, hang on. I got some crow pie over here in the oven. I'm gonna break this out for you. Hang on. Ding! This is getting insane. Republicans push back against Trump's false election claims. Here is the beginning of the end of Donald Trump and his love affair with the GOP that never loved him in the first place and merely enjoyed having him as a convenient fool to send out into the front of the army and go running towards the enemy, screaming and waving his arms. That's it. That's all you were, Don. And now they're going to put you out to pasture at the same time that all the Biden voters put you out to pasture. Yeah, and I'm going to keep saying that because I know it's got to sting. Republican lawmakers and officials are pushing back against President Donald Trump's series of false claims about the presidential election, although many did not mention him by name. They're not quite there yet. They're slowly inching their way up. It's kind of like how no TV network is actually called 270 yet. Nobody wants to be the first one, but everybody wants to be the second. So they're getting there. Shortly before Trump made baseless claims at a news conference about massive voter fraud, Republican Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania said that once the state's final election count is, quote, reached and certified, all parties involved must accept the outcome of the election, regardless of whether they won or lost. Toomey on Friday called for patience as the votes are counted, despite Trump's having tweeted earlier that officials should stop the count. Speaking about the mail-in vote count, Trump also told reporters, "There's been a lot of shenanigans, and we can't stand for that in our country." Really? You just lost to the no malarkey guy, and you're going to bust out shenanigans? Man, How bad is your repertoire if you're copying Joe Biden? Ooh, wow. The end is always the most painful part to watch. It's going to take the time that it takes, he told the Today Show. I saw the president's speech last night and it was hard to watch. The president's charges of large-scale fraud, there's no evidence here. But the harshest pushback came from Republican Will Hurd of Texas. Quote, as a sitting president undermining our political process and questioning the legality of the voices of countless Americans without evidence is not only dangerous and wrong, it undermines the very foundation this nation was built upon. Every American should have his or her vote counted. Yeah, what an extreme position. Remember, the people who tell you that the right to vote is sacrosanct are kind of loosey-goosey about whether or not the right to have your vote counted is also as meaningful. It's a convenient position to take, depending on if you're winning or losing. Color me shocked. Republican Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, who at times has been a sharp Trump critic, also offered a strong rebuke. Quote, we want every vote counted. Yes, every legal vote, of course. But if you have legit concerns about fraud, present evidence and take it to court. Stop spreading debunked misinformation, he wrote. This is getting insane. Of course, because you have a president who retweets shit from the Twitter rumor mill. Yeah, you're being presided over by a Twitter troll. Like every time Kayleigh McEnany gives a press conference, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We have a press secretary. I totally keep forgetting, because I just think Trump is his own press secretary and he just gives press conferences in front of helicopters with running rotors for some godly unknown reason. How the hell are you in front of a camera for 40 fucking years and you don't understand how audio works, man? You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. Reason 4,586 why I'm glad your bloated sorry ass is getting booted out of the White House. Christ almighty. Yeah, I know Biden might not be the strongest public speaker in the world, but at least he's not going to stand in front of a fucking running helicopter all the time, answering questions with inane anecdotes. Fuck. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan was one of the few Republicans to mention who he was talking about. Quote, there is no defense for the president's comments tonight undermining our democratic process. America is counting the votes, and we must respect the results as we always have before. No election or person is more important than our democracy. But here is where you're wrong. Donald Trump will always think that he is more important than everything. It doesn't matter whether it's democracy, the GOP, Democrats, every last person in the country, every last person on the face of the planet itself, the known universe. It does not matter. In Donald Trump's gooey fucking Cadbury egg brain that's just filled with sugary shit of two different colors, yes, the universe literally revolves around him. And while I'm glad that all of his one-time Republican lackeys are now finally starting to come out from behind their desks and go, have you seen my stapler? Has anybody seen my stapler? I'm glad they're at least asking about the stapler. It's good. But damn, guys. You've been working with this guy for 4 years. You don't know who the hell you're dealing with? Come on. People are like, oh, I can't believe he's such a threat to democracy. Really? The last 3 years and 10 months, you were just fucking oblivious? This shit just occurred to you as you're losing? Yeah, okay, I get that, sure. Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, a vocal Trump critic who was the Republican presidential nominee in 2012, also called for patience in a statement he tweeted from his personal Twitter account. How very Trumpy of him. Counting every vote is at the heart of democracy. That process is often long and for those running, frustrating. The votes will be counted, Romney wrote, and if there are any irregularities alleged, they will be investigated and ultimately resolved in our court. Have faith in our democracy and our Constitution and the American people. Now, of course, the other piece of this puzzle, other than what are his former lackeys going to do, is what are his former sycophants going to do? Much like Trump, they are not going to go gently into that good night. No, rather, police thwart alleged plot to attack Pennsylvania Convention Center where votes are being counted in Philly. Yeah, that's right. The police let these people get away with almost anything, but they usually have to draw the line at domestic terrorism because other people, innocent people, tend to also get killed in those attacks. If you have any questions, please see Oklahoma City. Yeah, nobody wants that to happen in their city on their watch. Not even a police union that endorsed Donald Trump, okay? There's a line. Again, Donald Trump, there is no line. He doesn't understand that for senators and congressional representatives and chiefs of police and governors and mayors, no matter how far they're willing to go for Trump, for all of them, there's a line somewhere. For Donald Trump, there is no line. And he's just running right along, thinking the whole army's like running behind him, like Braveheart. Ah! And like Trump doesn't realize he's just going to cross the line and he's going to run headlong into that wall of everybody who hates Donald Trump by himself. Even Donald Jr. is going to be 3 steps back going, oh, look, a shiny thing here on the ground. Like, you got to know that shit's going to happen. The only one who doesn't know is Donald Trump, because the other part of not knowing where the line is not understanding that other people aren't going to Thelma and Louise and drive off the cliff with you. Hey, let's read about these awesome right-wing people who are totally not domestic terrorists, who weren't planning on killing people solely because they're snowflakes and they're hurt about the results of an election. Philadelphia police are investigating an alleged plot to attack the Pennsylvania Convention Center where ballots are being counted. Action News learned Thursday night that police got a tip about a group driving up from Virginia in a Hummer to unleash an attack at the convention center. Police said they found a weapon and 2 people were transferred to Central Detectives. Early Friday morning, the Hummer was still on 13th Street. The vehicle had a Windows sticker and a hat with the logo for the internet group QAnon. Because of course it did. Which is known for spreading conspiracy theories. The FBI has labeled them a domestic terror threat. You know why? Because they try to blow up convention centers. But don't worry, at least 24 congressional candidates in this current election have endorsed or given credit to conspiracy theories promoted by QAnon. Gee. 24. What's that, about 5% of the House? 5% of the House is now QAnon. Yeah, this is going to end well, said nobody ever. But hey, maybe things have gotten so bad. Maybe I need to go do what the Trumpers are doing right now in their final last-ditch attempt. I mean, they've made pleas to the internet. They've made pleas to their Facebook groups. Oddly enough, none of that has managed to help Donald Trump stave off the inevitability of defeat. So, the Trumpers did what the Trumpers do best when shit gets rough and there are no options. They congregated outside the Clark County Election Department in Las Vegas while Nevada was tipping over from possible red to complete blue. They put on their little MAGA hats, and they solemnly knelt, and they prayed. They prayed to God. Rather than hearing their prayers, God ignored them. Sorry, ladies. Better luck with another Trump in 2024. Couple months left until the inauguration, people. Don't take your foot off the pedal. Keep your eye on the prize. I'm James. I'm out. Peace.